Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. And like rainy here and crazy here in Vegas, and so I just been in the mood for a beef stew. Ask me like, how do I know what cut of meat to use? And I'm not going to say that I'm a professional. I tell you guys all the time, I'm just a mom who's been cooking for like 30 years, right? But what I will tell you is when you're making things, here's like a hard and fast rule, at least for red meat. And I would say the same for chicken, is if you're going to cook it low and slow or long, so beef stew obviously is low, slow, long, then you're going to want it to be more marbled, lots of fat. Generally, you can get away with a cheaper cut of meat because that's going to be your cheaper cut of meat. The leaner and the finer, like a filet mignon, not good for beef stew, right? It's not going to benefit from being cooked long and slow. It's actually going to get tough because you don't have any fat to render out and to keep it juicy and moist and delicious. And the same with chicken. A chicken breast is a quick cook thing. If you cook a chicken breast too long, it's going to dry out. But chicken thighs that are dark meat and fattier can benefit from a longer, slower process. So if you're making stews, you can use cheaper cuts of meat. You could totally buy like a roast and chop it up into these little squares to save money. I'm just being lazy and buying it already chopped up. But sometimes stew meat can be pretty cheap. It depends. So you can see this is well marbled and delicious. First things first, I wash my hands. And a lot of people are like, do you wash your hands? I wash my hands 900 times when I'm making a video for you guys, okay? First, we're gonna make the seasoned flour. If you're gluten-free, you could definitely use gluten-free flour. You could probably use cornstarch. This is just going to give a little bit of a crust and it's gonna help thicken up our stew. There's no hard and fast measurement here. I'm gonna go like a quarter cup. I'm just using a pound of meat, and then we're going to season it. Now you could season this however you want. You could make it lemon pepper, you could do salt, pepper, garlic, onion powder, Italian seasoning, paprika, whatever you want. I'm going to go Montreal steak seasoning because to me that just says like, I don't know, it says pot roast, it says all the things. So I'm going to go like probably like a heavy tablespoon of the Montreal steak seasoning. And if this is salt, black pepper, red pepper, garlic, onion. It's so delicious. I love it. Actually gonna put a smidge more. I'm greedy. I love it. It's so good. All right, smidge more because we're not gonna use all this flour. Toss our meat in. Woo! I made a cloud, dust cloud. And we're just gonna give it a little toss here in our flour. We're gonna do a high heat sear, so we're gonna use the grapeseed oil because it has a higher smoke point. And don't worry, this is just staining. I'm just getting my Dutch oven good and hot. I'm gonna put them into the oil. And the reason that we coat it in the flour like this is because this flour is one, gonna help us create a flavorful crust, but it's also that this flour is gonna get released into this pan and it's gonna create a thickening effect to our sauce to make our stew, more stewy, as it were. So we're just going to brown off. We don't want to crowd the pan because we want to get crispy bits. So we're going to have to do 2 batches. And we're just going to get a nice crust, okay? No touching. A couple minutes or probably just a minute. Spend about 2 minutes. We're going to turn them over. It should have gotten a crust, golden crust on one side. Yeah, pretty good. We're not trying to cook through, we're just trying to get a golden brown crust, and then we're gonna pull it out and put it on the plate. We're gonna do our second batch, right? Okay. Once we've taken all of our meat out, we're left with this beautiful pan. Now, if you like onions, you can totally put a half or 1 onion in here right now and saute it up with a little oil. Me, I don't like onions, so I'm gonna put a little bit of garlic, like 3 cloves of garlic. You know how I love this frozen garlic, so convenient. And I don't want my garlic to burn. Hold on. And I'm going to do a squidge of tomato paste. Tablespoon or 2. Carefully, we're just going to saute that up for like 30 seconds because we don't want to burn our garlic. Burnt garlic does not taste good. And then we're going to add a couple of cups of water to deglaze the pan, okay? Again, carefully. You've got hot oil in here. Carefully. I'm going to pour in 3 cups to start. Okay. Beautiful. Then I'm going to take my wooden spoon and I'm going to scrape all that flavor off the bottom of the pan. I mean, this is just water and look at it. Oh. Instead of water, you could use beef stock here, but instead of beef stock, I'm going to put a couple of tablespoons or a tablespoon of Better Than Bouillon. I'll show it to you in 1 second here. I love this Better Than Bouillon. This is the beef base. So I'm gonna put like 2 teaspoons, like about that much. This is like a small spoon. I have my whisk dirty from before, so I'm just going to use that. And I'm gonna whisk this together. I wanna combine it and bring it up to a simmer, and I'm gonna put my meat back in. When you put your meat back in, always get all of the drippings off of the plate that the meat has released while it was sitting on the plate, because that is such good flavor. So we're gonna get our meat back in here, and we're gonna bring it up to a simmer. Then we're gonna cover it, and we're gonna turn it down to low, and we're gonna let it cook for like an hour and a half, yeah? So this is a low and slow. If you wanted more of a beef burgundy type vibe, you could use red wine in here instead of the beef stock, or in addition to the beef stock, right? Try to get more of this off the sides. All right, I know everyone's gonna ask, so I would consider this a simmer, gentle simmer, okay? Which is what we want. Now, we're going to cover first before we turn down. Cover. Nice heavy cover, and then we're going to turn down to low. When there's about 30 minutes left on your timer, you're going to start prepping the veg. Now you can put whatever veg you want. I'm going to put potatoes and carrots, and maybe I'll look and see if I have any peas in the freezer. Dice everything up into like bite-sized pieces so that it can cook up, because we're only going to cook the stew for like maybe another hour after. So we want it to be small. All right, not easy to do while I was trying to film, so I just put it in here. I like a good veg ratio. Like, I prefer the potatoes to the meat. So we're gonna stir it up, get everything incorporated, get it back up to the simmer. So that might mean that you gotta turn your heat up again. We're back up to a simmer, everybody's hot and happy. We're gonna put our lid back on. We're gonna turn our heat down to low, and we're gonna sear in another hour. I just tasted, everything's tender, delicious, incredible, but for me, I want this to be a little bit thicker, and I just feel like the flour didn't thicken up enough. So I'm gonna put a little cornstarch slurry, and I'm gonna show you. Definitely don't have to do this. It's not gonna add any flavor, but it's just gonna add like that unctuousness that I want. So that's a tablespoon of cornstarch. Put a little bit of cold water, and we're just gonna whisk, whisk, whisk. Add it to this cold liquid and turn it into a slurry so that you don't get lumps. Because if I just added this, I would get lumps of cornstarch. So now it's a slurry. I don't know how much I'm gonna need, so I'm just gonna pour in like half, and then I'm going to stir it. Okay, now we're cooking with gas. Look at that. This is just like a bowl of comfort and deliciousness. Like, you know when you're really craving something? And it turns out exactly like you want it to, right? Obviously, it's like smoking hot. But I just want to show you, this meat is literally falling apart. Like I'm using a spoon. Look at this, look at this. With a spoon, I can cut it with a spoon. That's how tender it is. Oh. Look at that. Look at that bite. Oh, so hot. When fall gets here, oh man, so good. 10 out of 10 recommend.